Everyone, welcome back. Today I have a different type of video. Is because I've been struggling with this for a while, which is headlight cleaning, and I want to show you a video about what I chose, how I did it, and what the results are. Maybe it'll help some of you. I gotta say, when I was looking for solutions to clean headlights, there was tons of them. One that caught my eye, and it's probably because I'm lazy. I want to do the minimal amount of work. There was a YouTube video. I think the person's name is Devin Nemes or something like that. Very entertaining. I watch him all the time. Seems like a good guy. And he put me onto this. Watching his video inspired me. So I went online and I checked. There are several versions of this product, but the one he used is the one that I wanted to use. But again, my whole purpose was to do as minimum work as possible with the fastest results when it comes to stuff like that. So decided to make a video on it. So let me show you the headlight. This is from my Evo 8. And as you can see, well, if you can see, it's pretty bad. Cloudy. I've tried using, polishing and things like that, and it didn't really work. Somebody was telling me toothpaste. I used that too, and it was pretty grubby. And I couldn't get out of it. Now, here's the thing. I'm sure that if I went with some sanding and all that stuff, that this would have worked. But I wanted to see what I can do without going through all that. The product that I'm using is called Cerakote Ceramic Headlight Cleaning and Restoration. You can get this on Amazon. It's like $24 or something. And inside you have an instructions, which I lost because I did the other set, and I basically got thrown away. But it comes with a set of gloves, a sanding pad, and 2 different kind of pads. Now, awesome thing about this is everything is labeled. Step 2, step 1, step 3. So it's very, very easy. 2 different kind of sand pads, and you have everything in packages. Now, you're gonna need more than 1 set of gloves that they have if you follow the instructions exactly. Because the first step you need to take is to clean your headlights. Literally, like, go clean them with water, dry them out. That's step number 1. And then you can start doing all this. So let's go do that. Before I do that, this is the state of the headlights. And obviously, if you get closer, you can see more imperfections, but most people don't see headlights this close. They're at least a couple of feet away. So from the camera, it's probably a good angle of what normal people would see. So this is where the headlights are now. Let me go watch them and see if there's any noticeable difference. All right, so step 0 is done. I soap and water washed them. Doesn't look any different to me. There was some dirt on it. Before some analyzer actually sees this and says, hey, what's this on top? So I got this car from Mississippi, and it's extremely humid. This was taken out. The inside was painted, and this was clear lighted. And I guess they were having issues with sealing, so they put extra RTV, and it's just on top. But you can't, like, when you close the hood, you can't see anything. I don't know if I'm gonna take it off, because you can just take a blade to it and just clean it out. But so far, I mean, it's been working. If I'm afraid that if I do take it off, that it's gonna get humid inside or moisture contamination. Anyway, so that's step number 1 is cleaning with soap and water. Make sure it's dry. And step number 2, step number 1, that was step number 0 is cleaning. Step number 1, according to the booklet, is using these pads. You get 8 of these pads, and these are anti-oxidation. So they remove oxidation from the headlight. This is step number 1. There's 8 of them. You have to use 4 on each. Even if the instructions say that when they remove oxidation, the pads will turn yellow. And by the time you get to pad number 4, if you still see yellow and you think that you know, the oxidation hasn't been removed completely, don't worry. The sanding process will basically take care of that. So let's begin. This is pad number 1. And they're saying circular motion. Really get them in. I like to do 2 passes, 1 on each side of the pad. This is pass number 1 with pad number 1. Make sure you get every nook and cranny that you possibly can that's at least going to be exposed when the hood is closed. I know some of you are very anal about stuff like, you know, looks and things like that, so I'm sure you'll do the top part, which really will not be exposed when the hood is closed, but during shows it will be. So this is, as you can see, I don't know if you can see this, it's kind of yellow compared to this side. Well, this side is yellow too as it went through. I'm gonna run another one through the other side of the pad, do a second pass. Removing the oxidation already makes it look a little clear. All right, so I'm gonna put it back in step number 1 booklet so you know where you are. This is why they provide you gloves. So they provide you 2 pairs of gloves, but you actually need 3 for this. I mean, this is not gonna be really bad for you. But the last part, when the ceramic goes on, yeah, you don't want to touch that. And it smells like ammonia too. All right, so this is pad number 2. I wonder if this chemical that's on these pads will work on other things. I mean, it should, right? Right, I'm going to do the other side. Oh, this is really, really yellow. I do see a noticeable difference right now up this close in the way the lens look. Okay, wow, that's yellow to brown. Okay, this is pad number 2. Moving on to pad number 3. Yes, that's my kids. We are on a lockdown. They're in Zoom school, Zoom classes. Okay, pad number 3, pass number 1. You have to be patient with this. That's why I couldn't do the with the drill and the ball and the sanding. I got crack hands. It's not steady. Even with tape all around and all that stuff, I was still messing it up. That's why I hate them. Wow, that's a big change. Just removing the oxidation. Now this is the last pad. The third pad was kind of yellow too. Okay, pad number 4, side A. The yellowness is a little bit less, but they're still yellow. Side B. okay, it's still noticeably yellow. But that's all right, because we're going to hand sand this. So we are done with step number 0 and step number 1. Okay. The best thing to use for cleaning up and everything, especially in the headlights, are shop towels. But there are 2 different kinds. One is the blue one that you get from, you know, AutoZone or whatever. That comes in a roll like this. Those have lint. When cleaning engines and, you know, doing engine work and something that requires complete cleaning, you want to get the one without the lints. So this is pretty good. It doesn't have any lints. It doesn't actually leave any lints. The other one is the pink one. The pink one also doesn't leave any lints. So this is what I'm using right now. So step number 1 is done. We went through deoxidation. The step number 2 is now sanding. There's 2 grades. One is, you know, kind of coarse. The other one is fine. You do it by hand, and this is the reason why I got this. Now, this is my workroom. Before I mess anything up and people start yelling at me, I'm gonna lay some paper towels underneath, so it's easy cleanup. I still haven't changed gloves. Note. I'm very careful with these because, you know, tabs on these things get broken like crazy very easily. Okay. Now, before you sand, you have to lubricate this. You don't have to clean the oxidation stuff off. The instruction doesn't say anything about it. If you want to, go right ahead. But yeah, I'm gonna wet this and then go over the sanding. Well, before I do that, I'm gonna use this too. You have to use the red one first. It's noticeably thicker. You can't mess it up. And it has the grades in the back. So this is 2000, the other one is 3000. So you're gonna use this last. So you're gonna use the red one and then the gray one. You put it on the pad, okay? And that's basically it. I'm ready to do the thing. So I like to wet top parts and let it drip down. That way, if I'm not over wetting them, no one's getting mad. You have to continuously wet this. Just making sure my pads are correct, because again, I lost the instructions. Yep, you can feel them. Okay, so they're saying not a circular motion, but a stroke motion, but be even. Don't sand one spot more than the other, obviously, because you'll have differences. And it's to sand 2 to 3 minutes each pad. That's very important. If you just sand a little bit, nothing's gonna happen. These are not very abrasive pads, and continuously wet them. Without wetting them, you're gonna damage the pad and your headlights. There's gonna be some milky substance that's usually the sand and plastic, because you're literally taking off plastic from the top. I wanna say more you sand the better, but I don't think in this case that is true. There is a limit to how much you should be sanding. So the instructions say 2 to 3 minutes each pad. So you can start an egg timer or whatever, but you should do the 2 to 3 minutes. because I have done less than that before and it doesn't come out right. Make sure you're getting all the nooks and crannies. The more detailed you are, the more patient you are with this, the better it's going to turn out. You can feel where certain parts of it is dry, and you gotta wet it. You won't know when you're done. It's just a timing thing. Maybe some pros will, but you definitely will not. And these are very, very expensive headlights. I think new ones are like $1,000 or something like that. That's absurd. I don't even want to talk about it again. Okay, so I did 2 passes. Now I'm going to do one more pass, and you can see on the pads, on the paper towel, where all the material and the sand material and the plastic is coming off. Okay, last pass on this pad. You can count in your head if you want. If you do 30 seconds on each pass, from half and half, that'd be a minute. My other headlights, I already did them. It came out pretty good. I have issues with these headlights. I think the other side, the inside, is bad as well. I'll try to do my best to clean it up, but inside is very difficult to clean. To take too many things apart, and I really don't want to take this lens out. All right, so I think we're done with the red pad. Yeah, these are destroyed. On for the higher grit. Oops. Okay. You don't need to clean them in between, but you do need to wet vigorously. Also, the first time I did it, I didn't put the pad on evenly, and sides of it got destroyed. So make sure you put it on evenly. After this process, don't get scared. It's going to be cloudy because you just, scratched your lens up. That's supposed to happen. That's the whole point. You're taking off material. And I think the way it works, and again, I'm guessing, is that once you scratch the material up, you're removing material from the top of your lens. There are microscopic, indentations and valleys and nooks, and you're creating imperfection on the surface. And when you go over with the last pad, the ceramic coating itself, you're filling those in and making the lens pretty smooth. Kind of like why the street is glistening and more reflective when there's water in it. I'm assuming. If someone knows more than me, please chime in. So you can tell, looking it up this close, when I scratched it up initially, the other pad, it was noticeably coarse. But now with this, it's a little better. So I did the top part, I'm going to do the middle now. Again, 2 to 3 minutes per pad. Just be very, very even. Non-circular motion. There's no need to do this top because it's already has markings on them from factory, reflectors and things like that. There's nothing gonna, your efforts are not gonna show on top. We're done with pad number 2. Now, before you get to the final stage, you have to clean this soap and water and let it dry. The ceramic coating does not, I guess, react well with water. It's not going to work if it's wet, and obviously if you have material on the glass, it's not going to bond properly. So take your time, go and clean them in the sink or the bathtub, whatever, and dry them out. Make sure they're very, very dry. So let me do that process now. All right, so I soap and water these and dry them. I'm gonna go over just one more time, just to make sure there's no moisture or anything else. And when you're confident 100% that it's dry, that's when you can start doing the other. See, it's not dry. I just had a little bit of moisture right there from the top. Okay. As you can see, they're noticeably cloudy. And at first when I did, I'm like, oh man, I messed them up. No, this is supposed to be like this. This is when you created the, I guess, the scuffs and you removed the final oxidation. So step number 3, which is the final step, or step number 4 for us. Before you even handle this, change your gloves if you were using other gloves before. But if you weren't using gloves at this up to this point, wear gloves. This chemical smells pretty bad, and I can smell ammonia in it too. Okay. Now, instructions say to go in one direction and 50% overlap. So what that means is, if you're gonna do this, the next part, you have to cover 50% of the part that you already coated, and keep going till the end. And this is the final step. Okay. I'm gonna fold it, and let's see. Wow. As you can see, there's a difference immediately. That's the garage door opening. Sorry about that. If you miss a spot, go over it again, no worries. Wow, I think that was pretty good. I do see where my friend was trying to use toothpaste and there's some strokes in it. But overall, people who have just cloudy, and I think this will work very well, and it took me literally, what, how many minutes? Like 15, 20 minutes? You could do both of the headlights all at once. Very important, after this, you have to let it cure for at least an hour or so, which means let it bond. I left it for 24 hours the other time, and it came out pretty good. So that's basically it. I hope I helped some people. Is this better than the other ones? I think it's the same. But someone like me, who I don't want to, go through the drill and go through all that, especially if you're going to do it on the car, I think this is better. Because you could really mess up with the handheld drill and all that stuff with the polisher, like I have. But if you're comfortable with it, go the other way. It doesn't matter. But it's pretty cheap. It's like $24 that I bought it for, and well worth it. Well, thank you for watching. Next video, I think, is going to be the Quicksilver, and we're gonna start it. And I'm going to go for a long drive, and then probably dyno it on 93. All right. Take care, everyone.